Around fans that appreciate the work. So it's fans that dress up. So to me, it just feels good to be surrounded by a lot of amazing people. I'm happy.
I get to talk to you at WonderCon a little bit before the show aired. Now it has. You guys have already gotten your second season, and we know how rare that is anymore. How does the reaction? Were you surprised by it?
By second season?
Well, not just by the second season, but by the fact that you guys do have a huge number of fans. We just were talking to one of the producers about the response you've gotten from the military.
Yeah.
It's been pretty overwhelming.
So to me, throughout the first season, I kept holding myself back from getting excited. It's like, who knows? A lot of shows get canceled. 10 episodes might not even air. Just keep your head down, film, have a good time. So I really repressed this feeling of like, yes, this is an awesome job. So when the show's now starting to do really well, it doesn't feel real because I think I've repressed that feeling so long. So yeah, it still hasn't set in for me yet. But the one thing that it has is we got invited to our premiere in DC. The Navy, there's a whole bunch of Navy men and Navy women that put on the premiere for us. And after the pilot episode, a captain and his two daughters came up to Christine Alamo. She plays the gay character, and the two daughters were crying, saying thank you for representing lesbian in the Navy. And to me, being on a show that has an impact on people, like our reach extends further than we know sometimes, and to know that we might be having a positive effect on someone's life, to me, that makes me go, hell yeah, season 2, that's the exciting part.
How similar is your, I had already kind of answered my question. How similar or dissimilar is your own personality to your character?
Well, Jack Nicholson talks about how acting is autobiographical. So no matter what, I'm always going to bring me into it, but I will say, okay, let me be honest right now. My character so far from what you've seen, emotionally, hasn't been able to handle or endure the circumstances and has kind of fallen short from the leader that he knows he is. And there's sometimes in my life where I can get very emotional and I can be a little bit of a softie. And so there's some similarities there. But the difference is, no way in my real life can I ever be a Navy SEAL. Those guys have such a mental, emotional, and physical endurance, and they've trained so much, and they're these extraordinary human beings. No way could I ever do anything close to what they can do. So I differ very much in that.
I mean, I do think it's a really positive thing to show a character that isn't mentally handling it, because not everyone can handle this situation. And even if you're naturally a very, very strong person, sometimes you're just going to check out. And I mean, he's struggling and really, really trying, but there are around all these other people who seem to be handling it fine, or at least internalizing it very differently. So I think it's a really positive thing to show that.
Well, it's tapping into reality, because we all respond to things differently, and it doesn't make one person right or one person wrong.
It's an extreme duress situation.
It is. I mean, the circumstances are extraordinary, and the stakes are so high in this. But a lot of what the training of Navy SEALs is about is to be able to handle these things. But I think this is beyond what anyone ever... Like, who's prepared to know that the world is dying and dead? I don't think you're really prepared to know that. So my character really gets to go along on that journey of... I think the audience can relate to seeing this experience through my eyes a lot, because I don't know how prepared anyone would be to know that their families, the people they love, everyone they've ever known is dead, and that they're possibly going to die soon too. So,
do you think it's more difficult for him because he actually leaves the ship and gets to see more of what's going on, whereas most of the ship, all they know is what they're hearing on the radio and what's going on in the ship?
Absolutely. Getting first-hand experience, and then watching. I've had a lot of people die in front of me on the show so far, and my character doesn't. It's a lot, and I think as the episodes unfold, we're seeing what humanity has become and the potential of the darkness that exists in all of us. We all don't have to honor it, but what we begin seeing is that a lot of people do honor it, and if that's what our world's going to become, what the hell's the point? And it's this idea of how do you retain hope in these situations when you've seen utter devastation, like firsthand. So it's definitely something in my character that is weighing it down.
So one of the first things we learn about your character in the show is his relationship with the lieutenant. It's sort of it's not really okay, like it's fraternization. So, and we saw him like deal with the relationship kind of in like a bad way in the episode that they have to go out. So are we going to see any kind of like development later on, or is it just going to be like, look, I love you, I hate you, let's
love
not
is
talk?
difficult. Let's just get that straight. Love isn't supposed to be easy. It's work. And I feel like this relationship really represents that. No one's going to get out of love unscathed. Love brings the most intense pain, intense joy, and it brings the intensity up. So as the season progresses, do I handle this relationship better? Because what's happened so far is that it gets in the way of my service and my responsibilities to help save humanity, which that's number one. As the season progresses, it continues to be a push and a pull, and it that's all I can say. Yeah.
What can you tease about the rest of the season and the obstacles that they're going to encounter? We've already seen the Russians. We've seen them run out of water.
Yep.
What else can you tease? Terrorists. Yeah. What else? Can
I think an issue that comes up a lot is we start running out of men, and we have to start using a lot of our men that aren't qualified or trained. So in these situations and circumstances, people have to step up, and when people step up out of their comfort zone, it's not an easy task for them. So there's a lot of times as the season progresses where you have some characters battling this true challenge of who they want to be, but not knowing if they can amount up to that. So there's a lot of inner conflict that happens between characters, and how do you support that? How do you cultivate that? How do you motivate that? How do you support failure? Like there's a lot of situations that we tap into.
Now I have to ask. So you're playing a SEAL. Did the SEALs take you out to the SEAL training school and put you through any of the rigors to see how you could do?
I wish the SEALs would have done that. No, but they
man, that would have been good.
I know, but they are on set every day. They're on set with me all the time, telling me what my character would be thinking, how I would be holding my gun, just how to move my feet, how I would stand. They're authenticating everything that I'm doing, and most times after every take, I'll look over and say, "Is that good? Like you approve?" And a lot of times they'll say, "I loved it," and whenever they start with that, there's a butt coming. And we'll have to do it again. So it's I haven't had too much of the Navy training, but I feel like they're a real part of my experience.
How much training did you have to do to work with the German Shepherd? And is it an actual military dog? Really well-trained dog?
It's not a military dog. It's a well-trained dog. And I didn't have to do much work at all. My one assignment was to get to know the dog. So the dog trainer would give me treats, and I would go hang out with the dog. And then when we were on set, I would, every time he would do something that I approved of, I would give him a treat. And we just, they changed dogs once on us too, but both dogs were just really calm and really just good little puppies. So yeah, it was very easy.